Hello and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to make some oceanic resin pours. Now, as you may notice, the resin I'm having here is very yellow, and that is because this was very old resin and it was actually a gift from the neighbor of a relative. So over 4 corners, but he basically had it in his garage for quite a while, actually so long that one of the bottles on the edge was corroded a little bit and had a hole from the resin inside. But it still looked like it would work, and after he found out that I do resin pours, he decided to bring it over and just gift it to me for me to have a try. So that is what we're going to do today. I'm using some resin clear here. This is basically just a very pure diluted purple pigment. I'm using the Sophie and Toffee one here, and as you can see, it works great. I'm overdoing it a little bit to have a slightly purple sheen, so that when light and sunlight and all that reacts with it, that it stays clear a bit longer and doesn't immediately turn back yellow again. It's a trick I picked up a while ago from other YouTubers doing it, and it seems to work really well so far for me. And with this resin, I don't know how light fast it is, so I'd rather be safe than sorry. And again, I don't know if it will cure, but there weren't really any crystals or anything on the bottom, so I just mixed it up as per the instructions, and we're going to make some pours here. I'm going with the oceanic theme, since the person also gave me some crushed seashells and stones that they picked up, and I wanted to make something for them as a thank you for the resin. It was actually quite a large amount of resin, so this pour didn't even scratch the surface of what I can make with that resin. And I decided, why not immediately do the trial by fire and make a multi-layer pour project with this. And I'm starting out with this container here, and I'm just alternating this teal blue with the white, and I'm trying to get an oceanic effect here with maybe some swirling of the white. I mixed in the Morandi pigments from Sophie and Toffee, but I didn't overdo it with the white because I don't want it to be too heavy. White tends to sink a bit more since it's a very heavy pigment, and I didn't want the white to take over everything, so I kept it decently light, but still white enough that you should be able to see it, kind of like sea foam, hopefully. I also didn't fill it fully towards the bottom, since this is also gonna be a multi-layer pour. And for the coast I went with clear and then the seashells and the stones. For the next batch I mixed up, accidentally pressed too much on the resin clear bottle, so it turned absolutely purple, but that is totally fine with how I'm gonna mix it later, and it's actually not as purple as it looks. You can see when I have the white background there for the white stuff, it's actually not that purple, and the white is slightly purple but not really, so it's totally fine. And my goal here is to have the white basically on the bottom. I'm doing a top to bottom pour, so basically the first top was the clear layer, and I poured that to be able to have the stones be fastened to that, and then I'm gonna make strips with the white and then the blue, and I hope that it will swirl. And the reason I'm doing it that way is this mold on the bottom is a bit uneven, the actual bottom that is open right now, and I wasn't too sure on how well it would work to just have the bottom be the top, if that makes sense, since it also has nice and slightly rounded edges on the other side, so I wanted to make that the top just to be sure, because that always worked well for me, and I hope the white would move a bit. I also added some more stones on this layer to have them overlap from the underside a bit more to make it look more like a shore type, and I just hope that the white will feather at least a little bit and not keep in straight lines. And then as for the container, I used more of the shells and stones, and I basically just shoved them into the edges, and I made sure that there's enough resin covering everything. I cannot quite pull the edges of this mold out as much as I would love to like shove them in properly, because if I do, there's a chance that it delaminates on the side where the already cured resin is, and I really didn't want to risk that. Also, as you can see, the resin is fairly clear, and that's actually not because I let it degas or anything. I did let it sit for like 5 minutes, but it's actually just because the resin is so liquid, which is nice, so I didn't have to do anything to it. Like, there was maybe 1 or 2 air bubbles, and those I actually poked out with a toothpick. But I didn't really need to add any fire or any isopropanol, and I just let it cure. And it actually all cured perfectly fine, and it didn't take too long. It took a bit less time than was in the instruction, but honestly that can just be because it's fairly warm in the spot where I put the resin. But it didn't flash cure or anything, and I don't know what the pour depth of this is. And as you can see, I had some leftovers. So I poured this cute little bunny that got like this marbled effect, the little fish, and then I also poured another fish with some of the rocks and seashells inside, and all of them honestly look very adorable, very beautiful with minimal air bubbles, so this resin is actually fairly good for that. I don't know what depth it's originally intended for. Like, it's an older bottle, so I don't know if the formula actually still is the same in the product. But either way, as I said, it worked really well, and it had no air gaps. Now, I did have one issue with this mold particularly, and I think that's just purely because of age, and that is that some of the middle on the inside actually fused from this mold. I did get it out in the end, but it took a lot of strength and actually sharp tool. The holes don't go through quite through the entire material, so I think I can use it one last time, but afterwards this mold is done, and that's just purely because of age. It happens when you pour a lot of resin into a mold, and it can happen in any place. Now, as for the white stripes on this mold, they didn't really move as much, sadly, but I still think it looks actually pretty good. And I actually love how the white on the like surface like swooshed inwards towards the stone I placed, and you can see it's actually having a slight texture from the stones and seashell. So overall, I'd say I'm pretty happy. I also made this purple like trinket dish with some of the leftover resin, and I just used some mica pigments and then the white I inherently mixed, and that turned out really beautiful with the swirl. So I would say all of the pours I did with this mysterious resin actually worked out really, really well. And I always really enjoy making things for people, especially as a thank you, because it's always so fun to see them be happy about the things they receive. And it just brings me joy, so this was more of like a thank you and like appreciative project here, instead of like a very technical one. But again, I had a lot of fun making these pours, and the person that received them was really happy about them, so that is another good bonus. And again, I got a huge amount of resin still left, so we shall see what future projects I'm gonna make with that. Anyways, I hope to see you next time. Have a great day, bye!